So I understand that you and your team are doing a lot of research on climate change, and this research is not trivial. On the other hand, microinsurance is very technical itself, the risk quantification and so on and so forth. So how can we expect the client to understand it so quickly? How can we expect the client to pay so much money? Don't we have to, in the beginning, pay heavy subsidies on the premium? What do you think?
So you're asking me what I think about subsidies. I think we should broaden the issue really. Show me a country, any country, rich, medium, or low income, that has actually solved the climate change issue strictly and mainly through subsidies. It doesn't exist. At least I do not know that it exists. I think that it is unrealistic to expect that somebody will resolve the financial aspects of climate change completely through transfer mechanisms. But look at a country like India. 70 to 80% of the Indian population is in the informal sector. They do not pay taxes, or at least they do not pay income and property tax. They may pay indirect sales tax, but most of their transactions are not monetized and most of them are not taxed. How can any country expect that 20–25% of the population would subsidize the rest? How can anybody suggest that it is reasonable, fair, sustainable, equitable, that maybe 10% of the taxable assets would pay enough taxes to pay for 90% or 80% of the population? The gap is so huge that a solution based on transfer through subsidies through the government presumes that the government is a very good tax collector. If the government is not a good tax collector, for whatever reason, it may be objectively because most people are poor, it may be because they're not very good at tax collection. Whatever the reason, the option of thinking mainly subsidies or only subsidies is not on the table. This is why we have to look at other solutions. And the other solutions have to be, what can people bring to the party? What can people do with their means, even if they're very modest? And if we do have subsidies, what are the components of cost that people should not be asked to pay in the first place that should be subsidized? I talked about two streams. One relates to the trend and one relates to the fluctuations. If I want the trends to be covered, but there will be zero contribution from the side of the beneficiaries on the fluctuations, we're still not going to have a solution. So what we are developing, what we are devising is a model which offers two streams that converge. The proportion between these two streams may change over time. But right now, many governments are not gearing their subsidies necessarily to the lowest rung of the population. It is not necessarily only or mainly the poor who benefit from subsidies. Subsidies in health, subsidies in energy, subsidies to many other domains have been proven and shown time and again to benefit mainly or to a large extent higher income people. People who are urban, people who are living closer to hospitals have better access to hospitals which are subsidized. People who live very, very far in rural areas where there is no hospital can't benefit from any subsidy that goes to hospitals. And the same is true with energy. If you're a higher consumer of energy, you get a higher share of the subsidy to energy. But maybe you're so poor that you can't afford to buy the subsidized energy anyway, and you have to collect wood. So although there is a subsidy, it doesn't reach the right people. Therefore, subsidy is a complicated issue, needs to be addressed, but this is a fiscal and monetary issue that can be addressed when we have financial solutions. We can't deal with that unless we have a solution which can be integrated into a revisit of policies relating to subsidization of something, a solution, rather than the product.
You're mainly developing your microinsurance solutions for climate-related risks in India. But what is the relevance for other parts of the world?
Well, India is extremely exposed to climate change related risks. And lessons that we hope to learn in India on this particular topic and on including insurance, microinsurance solutions as part of adaptation to climate change will without any doubt have a value in translating and replicating in other countries. There will nevertheless be a need to make sure that the solutions are context relevant. All the solutions that we develop in India, we develop first of all in a specific village in India. And all the data models that we create are geared to be calibrated at high resolution at a specific location. So if we're talking about a specific geography, a specific season, a specific crop, a specific problem, it requires a whole set of data that are calibrated at a very high resolution to actually give a solution that is relevant locally. If our model works in India, then it can be taken anywhere, because what you would need is to change the specific data, but not the model. Right now, we are working on models that do not exist. And those models are transportable to other places. We will make the proof of it once those models have passed a certain phase of proof in India. But then again, India has very many agroclimatic zones. India is such a diversity. India is not just a country, it's a subcontinent. It has the Indo-Gangetic plains, it has the Himalayas and the water-rich north. It has areas in the center that are semi-arid or almost arid. It has deserts, it has seashore, it has mountains, it has plains, it has got everything. So if we are at such a diversity and we are successful in modeling meaningfully in such a diversity of agroclimatic zones, there is no reason to doubt that we will be able to take that beyond India to Nepal, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Vietnam, Philippines, and a range of African countries where we are already working on micro-health insurance, and where the need for climate change-related solutions are acute, unserved, and waiting for those kind of models to be available for application.
Professor Dror, I would like to thank you for the interview. It was very enlightening for me to hear about the work that you and the Microinsurance Academy is doing in India and even worldwide. And I think there should be more institutions which basically combine the implementation from the perspective of the people at the bottom of the pyramid to the I would say cutting edge research. That is maybe the key to resolve some of the problems that we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jungle. Pleasure meeting you, pleasure talking to you, and we agree. What we do needs to be integrated with what others are doing so that together we are all actually going to offer better solutions in more places to more issues that are making real life unfold for real people.
Thank you.